Ace Will's a genius.
It's your boy Next Level Ace, back with another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about how so many people were guided right into debt through student loans. Student loans have haunted Americans for years, and it's still very true today. So let's get into it.
I think a lot of the reason why the student loans crisis is what it is because we are giving 17 and 18-year-olds unfettered access basically to tens of thousands of dollars in loans without proper education and proper understanding of what that actually means in the future when it comes to paying it off. And we also defer even having to pay it off 4 years down the road. And I think that's contributing to the larger student loan crisis that we see today. Anyone who's taken out student loans just knows how complicated the entire process is for taking out student loans. So that makes it harder to really understand the total burden of the loan when you take it out. Also, psychologically, it defers the pain of actually paying back the loan in the future. And when you are 17, 18 years old, you are not thinking about 22-year-old self paying back the loan. You're thinking about wanting to go to college and getting an education. And that psychologically can trap people into thinking, oh, it'll be fine, I'll pay back these loans. And when they reach the point that they pay them back, they haven't realized how big of a burden that's gonna be. There also is vast underestimation of how much money you will actually take out in loans. Studies have found students think they'll take out an average of $17,000 in loans, and that's about half of what the average student actually takes out. So a lot of people are dramatically underestimating how much college actually costs and what the loan will actually cost them for the rest of their lives. And for a lot of people that take out student loans, that is the biggest debt burden that you will have outside of potentially your mortgage, and especially the biggest debt burden that you'll have typically at that age. And when you have debt that is that high, 17,000, 35,000, even more than that, that impacts all of your financial decisions going forward. How much, where you look for a job, your living arrangements, timeline for other financial goals. And when you don't fully understand how big of a loan it's gonna be, that can throw a lot of our calculus and how young people think about money completely out of whack. And I'm not saying that this is completely on the burden of the student. I would actually argue that it is an issue of literacy and helping to educate high school students, even people going to graduate school, about what these loans really will cost you and how to do a better cost benefit analysis. There's just not enough education in this area. This is a larger issue in the American financial system, which basically just puts the burden on the individual to completely manage their finances. And of course, wealthier people can potentially afford to kind of offset that onto other financial advisors or having somebody else kind of handle it. But if you are middle or even lower income, you are having to navigate this entire very complicated world yourself, which is a huge burden on anybody, any individual.
All right, so I'm gonna tell y'all, let me turn this off. All right, so after high school, I decided I wasn't going to college. And at 18 years old, my main reason was I'm not trying to go in debt. This was literally my mindset. You can ask my mom. Literally the reason was I'm not trying to go in debt. That was literally my reason. And looking back, it probably was one of the better decisions I made, for the simple fact that, yeah, I have a lot of family, friends that went to college. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them graduated, some of them didn't. But whether you graduate or not, you still have these loans that you got to pay back. You know what I'm saying? And that's a burden I don't carry. I have debt, but I have nowhere near student loan debt. You know what I'm saying? My debt came from just me living life and buying vehicles and getting credit cards and stuff like that. But I have never accumulated debt to the point where I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? My debt has always been beatable, if that makes sense. I always look at it, I look at the number and I go, that's not that bad, So I've been really working on getting back debt free. I will be back debt free in 2026. But like she was saying, I feel like it's a literacy thing for sure, right? Because in high school, they don't teach us finances. They don't explain loans and APRs and how it works, what you're really paying. You know what I'm saying? So you don't explain these things, but then you encourage every kid in America to go to college when a lot of us can't afford to go to college, really. You know what I'm saying? You can't really afford to go to college, but they really push you to do it. You damn near feel like an outcast if you don't go. You know what I'm saying? I'll be lying if I told you I didn't feel left out at times because I didn't go. You know what I'm saying? It was me and I probably got me and one of my homies didn't go. Now I had another homie who went to college, but he ended up, I think he was there for a year and then he came back, something like that. All right. So that was really my, like, most of my friend group, they left and they went to college. Like 90% of my friend group, 95% of my friend group left and went to college. So I was just left with, it was like three of us that was, still around, just working, trying to make money and level up and, do what you do after high school when you don't go to college. But I'll be lying, like I said, to say that there wasn't times where I'm like, dang, man, like I felt like I missed out on certain experiences. Like that's probably the one thing that I think about is like, damn, I missed out on the experience of college. But on the back end, I don't regret not accumulating that debt. You know what I'm saying? I don't regret not going to take out them loans to go to school and then probably end up with a job that don't even really pay me enough to live comfortably and pay back these loans. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I said, I feel like I missed out on the experience, but I ain't miss out on the back end of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much is that experience really worth? Is it really worth that $42,000 that they taking out? Is it really worth $42,000 that you got to pay back? Is a burden for sure, especially coming out of college, right? You graduating, you getting an entry-level job, you getting entry-level pay. In today's economy, everything is overpriced and you gotta pay back these loans, have somewhere to live, you need transportation, you gotta eat. It's a lot, man. So I don't regret it at all. Let me know how y'all feel about student loans, but let's get into some more clips from some different people.
I'm not for paying off any student loan debt. I think you took them out, you have to pay them. But I think going forward, we really need to change some systems. Now, I graduated in like 2013 or something. I don't even remember when I graduated high school, sometime around there. And the system was so bad at that time. I have no debt myself, but there was shame if you even said the words trade school. You were looked down on. The teachers would call meetings. They would have like counselors come in and be like, he said trade school. He didn't say college.
Trade school is the way,
and
man.
then they would be like, well, with loans and stuff, we can make college work. And they would basically be like car salesmen, but like how to get you in a loan today. That is what it felt like, was how do we get you in a loan today so you're not an outcast. Everybody goes to college. You gotta get a loan right now. That is how it felt. There was so much pressure, and I grew up in the Northeast. Maybe it's different in different states, but it was so disgusting and bad when I look back on it. Like if you talk to like a military recruiter, oh my gosh, it was like you were trying to burn down the school. It was crazy. The whole thing, there was so much pressure, especially from the teachers and guidance counselors, and I hope that changes. I
didn't mean to do that at all.
I'm not.
But that is crazy. Do you see what I mean? He basically saying like, yo, you would look that crazy if you wasn't trying to go to college. You know what I mean? I remember, bro, one of my cousins, right? True story. Is around the time we graduating, and she was one of them people where like, she'll be like, hey, we could get you into college. We'll find a way. And it's like, find a way? You want me to be in debt that bad? I don't know. I just think the idea of college is really, it's broken. Not only is the loan system broken, the idea of college is broken. It's like, we were sold this dream like, yo, you go to college. After college, you get a good job. You gotta go to college to get that degree, and then you get a good job after. After you get that good job, you live good. But that is not the reality for most people that graduate college, because there are so many other factors. Is like, what degree did you get? In what field? How much money do they make? Entry level, If not entry level, okay, where do they top out at? What is the average person in your field making? Like, before you go to college, you need to know, like, okay, this field is in high demand. Like, you should get a degree in a field that's high demand. That way, when I'm done, I'll have a job for sure. And I know I'm going to be making roughly this amount. Also, you need to be calculating what your student loan payments are going to be. And you need to already calculate that into your budget. So like, okay, I'm going to be making this, but really I'm going to be making this because I have to pay back student loans. So my income minus my student loans leaves me with this. Now, this is what I actually have to work with. as far as where I live, what I drive, you know, monthly expenses, light bills, water bills, whatever, grocery bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like we need to do better planning. I feel like everything changes with better planning. When you actually plan things out, like I started really using like financial planners, just seeing everything. Like last night I sat here and I had my financial planner done until January like 2nd. So last night I did January through March. So now I know, like, okay, I know what I'm gonna be kicking out. I know what I should have left over. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to understand where your money going, where your money at, what you should have versus what you actually have. Like, okay, I had an extra $2,000 this month, but I only got 1,000, so I spent 1,000. Like, you need to really know what's going on. These student loans is crazy though. Student loans is really just haunting so many people.
Actually, I can't afford to buy a house because I went to college. Well, that sucks, but you chose to go to college, and it's not anybody else's responsibility to pay for that. Yeah, but like I had to go to college to get the job that I wanted. What'd you even get a degree in? Something absolutely useless? No, I went to college to be a teacher. Well, that's your fault for choosing such a low-paying profession. You do know we have to have teachers, right? Yeah, well, maybe you should move to an area where they pay more. Actually, I'm at one of the highest paying school districts in my state, and it pays me less than it costs me to go 1 year at the university I went to get the degree to teach at this job. Don't know what to tell you. Should have became a welder, dumbass. Oh, okay. Hey, can I ask you something? Yeah, what's that? Are you just like pure evil, or are you just that fucking dumb? Actually,
Nah, that keep happening. I'm trying
actually,
to
I
pause.
can't.
Lord. The reality of this, the reality is crazy because, like he mentioned, people be like, "Oh, you should have been a welder," and it's like welding. That's a trade. Welding, electricians, plumbing, all that stuff. Those are trades, and those are in high demand, and they make great money. But as you can see in the other guy's video, he said that talking about trade school was like frowned upon. You know what I mean? Which is crazy because trade school, you still have to pay to go to trade school, but it's way cheaper than going to a university for 4 years. Trade school is way cheaper, and most of the time you get in and out way quicker, and you get to start making money way faster, and you're gonna pay that off rather quickly than somebody that's trying to pay off student loans. Now you still could take out like fast food and stuff for like trade school, some of them, you know what I'm saying? You still get like financial aid, but like I said, it's way cheaper, and they make great money, man. They make great money. Like if you in high school and you just come across this and you like, what should I do? You know, I'm about to graduate, what should I do? You should look into trade school for sure. You should look into trade school. Unless there's something you really, really, really need to go to college for. Like, you know, there's some stuff you just have, you know, doctor and, you know, certain stuff. Like if you going for stuff like that, go ahead. But if you really don't know what you want to do, I don't feel like you should go to college to figure out what you want to do. No, you just wasting money. You need to already know what you're trying to do before you get there. You need to, like I said, you need to have it planned out already before you get there. Don't wait till you get there to be like, okay, what do I really want to do? Nah, because now you're just wasting time and money.
They gave out student loans like candy at a parade. Let's just be honest. Just here you go. Here's some debt. Good luck. And oh, there's no guarantee of a job in the end. But now they're demanding it back with garnishments, penalties, and pressure. No oversight when they gave it, right? But full punishment when it's time to repay. And yes, I believe in honoring what we owe. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. But let's not act like Caesar wasn't reckless with the bag in the first place. People made life-altering decisions as teenagers, 17, 18, 19, some without the support of their parents. And now they're being punished like they masterminded the system. Now see, if the lending was irresponsible, the payment shouldn't be ruthless. You can't be loose when giving it and tight when collecting it. Meet people where they are, especially if your system helped create the struggle in the first place. See, this isn't about avoiding responsibility. Trust me, it's not. It's about calling out the system that never took any. It gave out.
Man, they will give anybody a damn loan to go to college. For real. That's why I say I had the cousin that like, we'll figure it out. Like, she really like, I watched her, like, she got all her kids into a school. All of them didn't, you know, stay and graduate, but she got all her kids into college one way or another. So she was right when she's like, yeah, we can get you in there. Like, she got all her kids into college. But what's the cost though? What is it worth? I don't know, man. And it's like back then, my friends was like, bro, you smart, bro. And I don't know. I was just thinking like, hey, bro, this is how my brain works. This is how I always been. I literally thought about it, and I was like, you know, if I ain't getting no full ride, if I ain't going to college for free, I ain't going. That was literally my mindset. And it's like, I was always very smart, but towards that, I'll say the last year or two of high school, I didn't even take school seriously. You know what I'm saying? I did enough to graduate. Now, did my grades reflect my true intellect? Not at all. Not at all. If my grades reflected my true intellect, I should have passed with straight A's. You know what I'm saying? Did I? Absolutely not. I did enough to graduate. I know my mom wanted to see me walk across the stage. My grandma wanted to see me walk across the stage. But I knew that what I really wanted to do in life, like I always wanted to, you know, start businesses or content is like my real passion, like content creator. I'm very artsy. You know, I make music, I make beats. Like I'm heavy in the entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that. And I knew like I don't need to go to college to do what I'm trying to do. Like, yeah, I could have like tried to go to Full Sail or something like that, which to this day I think about. I'll be like, yeah, I still want to go to Full Sail, but I want to go on the strength of my own dollar. I don't want to take out loans or nothing. So it's like at some point I will like probably go to Full Sail or something, but I'm gonna go when I can actually afford it, when I can pay for it out of pocket. That's just always my thing. It's like I'm not really on this debt train. I'm not. It doesn't really move me. It doesn't excite me at all.
I'm smiling to keep from crying. I was on the phone 4 hours and 30 minutes with Mohila, student loan processing. My loan was sold 2 or 3 times to different entities. And each time I filled out the public service student loan forgiveness, did over 10 years, so it should be off of my credit. It was taken off last year, but was sent to a different processor. They put it back on my credit. They're acting like they're processing it again. $10,000 is overdue, and it was starting to hit my credit, so they stuck it in a forbearance, and I'm like, no, just forgive my loans. It says I have 125 payments. It's only 120 that's needed. I have a total 209 payments, but not all of them are eligible. So I'm wondering what the hell is going on and why you won't just return what someone should pay me, because I haven't been able to buy a house or nothing with these loans messing up my credit. I'm smiling to keep from crying.
That's real. Like, yo, these student loans are stopping people from living life, literally. I heard so many people say, bro, I can't buy a house. I can't do nothing. Student loans is killing me. Like, them student loans hit your credit, killing you. I say student loans and like hospital bills. Like, people that don't have insurance and them hospital bills are hitting your credit. I don't think they can do it no more. But I remember I had a hospital bill hit my credit. We'll talk about that in another video. That's off topic, but Lord, what?
American student loan debt is a crisis, so let's talk about how we got here. Decades ago, states used to directly fund public colleges. That meant schools had stable budgets and students paid relatively low tuition. But starting in the 80s and 90s, all that changed. Instead of giving money to schools, the government started giving it to students in the form of loans and grants. The idea was that students could choose where to spend the money and that schools would compete to attract them. But there was a catch. Schools got less public funding, so they raised tuition. Students had to borrow more to keep up, and over time, loans became the main way to pay for college. In a recent episode of Slate's Money Talks, Emily Peck speaks with Jillian Berman about her new book, Sunk Costs, which is all about how America's student loan system got so broken and what we can do to fix it. That shift from public funding to student funding is a key reason why so many people carry so much debt. And it's why the conversation around the cost of college is really a conversation about how we decided to pay for higher ed in the first place. American student loan debt is a crisis.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. So they used to fund the schools, and then the schools will basically accept whoever they decided. And I'm guessing the school just covered the expenses because they were being funded anyway. So it's like, well, cool. They decided, oh, no, we're gonna give the students the money, let them decide where they want to go. And then the school said, bet, we ain't getting that money no more, so we just gonna charge these kids more. It just don't be making sense to me. It just don't be making sense. So it's like some schools probably charge more because it's just how my brain works. I could be wrong. Some schools may charge more because they know they don't get as many students as some other schools, right? So one school might be a little cheaper because they know, well, we make our money because we get a lot of applicants. And some other schools may not get as many applicants, so their prices may be a little bit higher. I don't know if that's actually how it works, but I know that all the schools, they're not on like an even playing field. Like every school doesn't charge the same thing. And then I believe based on your field, or like, you know, what your, what's the proper term? What you're majoring in, don't the prices differ? Don't the prices vary based on what your major is? Like every major doesn't have the same cost, right? So it's too much. It's too much. It is extremely too much.
If your student loans are currently in default, look at here and listen to me good. It won't be a Merry Christmas or a Happy New Year if they start garnishing your wages in January, which is what they plan to do. And who is they? Trump, the Department of Education, and that wrestling lady. Trump and his administration will start garnishing the wages of student loan borrowers that are in default in early January. More than 5 million student loan borrowers are currently in default, and that could swell to roughly 10 million borrowers very soon. But if you're in default and you're not sure what to do, I got you. Write this down. Number 1, act immediately. Before they can start taking your money and garnishing your wages, they have to send you a notice of intent to garnish. Once you get this, you have a 30-day window. Within that 30-day window, you need to either enter into a repayment agreement, request a hearing, get a rehab, consolidate your loans, and contact your attorney general. Number 2, get out of that default. You can either go into loan rehab, make some on-time monthly payments, consolidate your loans, or ask for a hardship. Number 3, get yourself a hearing, get a written request, delay that garnishment, and provide evidence of financial hardship. Number 4, try to negotiate a repayment arrangement, demonstrate hardship, and update any contact information that you need to. And contact your attorney general immediately. No matter who holds your loans, Mohila, Nelnet, or Advantage, my student loan templates are still available and they're very effective. So get them, fight back, get rid of that garnishment today.
Yeah, tap in with a scholarship college mama, man. Cause garnishing wages, yeah, that's when you start getting into very, 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 very tricky territory. You know what I'm saying? Like garnishing wages, that mean they just gonna start taking your money and you have no control. I've had wages garnished before. Now it wasn't a lot, but when it happened, it was just like, yo, what? Now mine was like on some state taxes, like I owed state taxes or whatever, and I don't know, I think I forgot to pay them. I just didn't pay them, whatever. But eventually, I remember I got the letter in the mail, because they have to send you a letter in the mail before they garnish any wages. And I got the letter in the mail and I kind of forgot about it. I literally forgot about it. And then I worked some overtime, and it just worked out for me, right? Because I worked some overtime and I'm like, ooh, this check finna be hitting. I worked this overtime, this check finna be nice. I went work day, looked at my check, I'm like, yo, what? I go look at my deduction, garnish wages, and came and got their money for taxes. I'm like, bruh, it made my overtime check a regular check. I just chalked it up to the game. It's like, at least I ain't gotta worry about them no more. And that was it. But yeah, garnishing wages is real, bro. So, you know, I might want to get on top of that, because ain't nothing like expecting your check to look one way and then you get it and it's significantly different. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is this? Like, it's like they rob you of your time. Like, I just put in all this work for this money and I didn't get it because y'all just decided y'all was just gonna take my money. Crazy.
So as it turns out, the student loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have a 17% interest rate. So what I thought I've been paying off for all this time.
Now, she's paying $1,500 a month with a 17% interest rate. That's crazy. So I don't know how much she owes, but whatever she owes, that $1,500 she is paying is bare minimum. Like, it's just enough to cover the interest, because she said that she owes more. She said, if I'm not mistaken, she said she owes more than what she initially owed, which means she's not even paying enough to really cover all the interest. Because if you was paying enough to cover all the interest, the loan wouldn't really go, well, maybe it would go up. It would go up over time. So she said She been paying for
So
a
as
year.
the student loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have
2
a
years.
7% interest rate. So what I thought I've been paying off for all this time, I'm actually, like, I owe more than what I started off with. What the fuck? So Jeff Bezos, this would be a really cool fucking time to Venmo me, bro. Like, I owe $90,000 and I didn't even spend
90? Oh my god.
much on school. Like, any rich person, please tap in. Like, Kourtney Kardashian, like, you probably have 8 houses. I'm never gonna be able to buy one because I went to college. I just signed up to be an egg donor. Guess what? Got approved. Who wants my fucking kids? I can't afford them, so start a bidding more. Just fucking take them. What do you want? My left arm too? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm gonna be in debt for my whole fucking life. How does that even make sense? I signed up for this shit when I was 17. Like, this should not be legal, bro. I got upset about it at work, and my coworker was like, don't you have, like, a rich relative who can pay that for you? No!
Yo, I hate when people say that, bro. It's like, this happens in multiple environments, right? You might be looking to buy a house, or you may be looking to purchase a car. Like, in any scenario where you're dealing with some type of money that's needed, people dead ass be like, you don't know nobody that can lend you that? How many fucking people you know that just can give you $90,000? What are you talking about? Like, who the fuck just has 90,000 sitting around? Not the average person. Like, people just be saying the craziest things, bro. Even if it's like 15, 20,000, people be like, you don't know nobody that can lend you that? Nigga, no. And I might, but I'm not finna ask them. Like, I have some people, you know, in my family that's well off, but I'm not finna call them like, yo, I need 20,000. I need 100,000. They gonna be like, nigga, what? Who calls and asks for that? If it ain't like your mom, your dad, that's one thing. You know, your mom, your dad well off, then you probably could call your parents and be like, look, they probably gonna figure something out. Cause as a parent, I know my kid, if I got it, my kids really need it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna guide my kids. I'm not finna let my kids make these decisions. I'm not. No siree. That's crazy. 90,000? 90,000. She paying $1,500. Bro, she's paying rent. She's paying rent or mortgage on student loans. She's paying rent on student loans. That's insane.
Like, no! And the worst fucking part is, bro, look where I am. Like, I can't go in because I can't spend money, but I just want to, like, be here because it makes me feel better. So as it...
This is good. 90,000. Let's do some math, y'all. I like doing math. All right, hold up. Let's do some math. 90,000, right? Times 17%. That's $15,300 in the span of a year. Divide that by 12. So $1,275 a month just in interest. All right, let's divide that by 4. $318.75 a week in interest. Let's divide that by 7. $45.54 a day in interest. So let's times that by what, 31 days. You're looking at $1,411.60 a month in interest. All right, that's 31 days, and she's paying 15, which means, quick math, 89 or 88 and change is actually going towards the principal, but the rest of that money is going towards the interest. So she's not really making a dent in that 90,000, and by the time she gets to the next payment, the interest piled up again. So, like, only way she's gonna really make a dent is she needs to be paying on this loan like every time she get paid. Now, hopefully she isn't a teacher and get paid once a month. Maybe she works somewhere where she get paid every 2 weeks. Then, you know, she can hopefully, I don't know, man. Just know that interest goes up by the day. So, like, the faster you pay it or the more often you make payments, the more you actually hit the principal. The longer you go before you make another payment, that interest is just adding up. So it's better to just pay as soon as possible. Like, you know, if you know this bill is due Tuesday, but I got the money Friday, I'm gonna pay it Friday, and I'm just gonna save myself a couple days of interest. You know what I'm saying? But comment down below, let me know what y'all think, how y'all feel about student loans.